Good Friday morning to all. Happy Yom Yerushalaim. As a child, I knew a young lady. She was about 5 years older than me. Her name was Yochevet Greenfield. And I knew her because she was close friends with a cousin that we were very close with. And I would visit their home and interact with her father, her older siblings at times. And I immediately noticed there was something very unique about her father. And when I heard about his life story, my appreciation increased. The story that I was told was that as a young man in Hungary, he was a teenager in yeshiva, and they were dealing with significant anti-Semitism in the city they lived in. And at some point, there were hooligans that would come to Jewish weddings to disrupt. So a group of the yeshiva students got together, and they decided that they're going to ambush the ambushers. In other words, when there would be a wedding, the anti-Semites would just make their way into the room where the celebration is taking place. So they decided to hide out outside as well. And when the next ambush occurs, they're going to make their way in. And they chose the yeshiva boys that were strong and were good fighters. And Mr. Greenfield was one of them. So the evening came, and it was a mazel tov, a significant celebration, a wedding. And unfortunately, a group of non-Jews made their way in and started beating up whoever was present. And the yeshiva boys came in, and they protected everyone by swinging their own punches. And it appears that Mr. Greenfield took a swing at one of the anti-Semites who was disrupting the wedding and knocked the guy out, and he killed him. Mr. Greenfield was thrown into jail as a teenager, and his parents were notified that they shouldn't expect to see their son alive again by the next day. They collected funds throughout the night, they bribed the guard, and they sent him out of town. And his mother, it seems to be that they were able to even arrange a boat ticket to Eretz Yisrael at the time in the late 30s. And the last thing his mother gave him was a lemon to help him with nausea during the boat ride. And one time when I was visiting the Greenfield family, they showed me the lemon. It didn't look like a lemon in the 1980s. But it's something he kept because it was the last thing he got from his mother and the last thing he got from a family member, because they were all wiped out by the Nazis in 1944. And he survived due to the fact that he defended Jewish people. Very impressive individual. And I know there's a famous Life magazine picture of a Hasidic Jew popping his head out of a tank in the 1967 war, the Six-Day War. That was Yochevet's older brother. So the Greenfield family was one I felt a connection to, was always something inspiring. But one time she told me that her father is detached from his community, and asked her, what does that mean? And she said that he used to daven with the Satmar Chassidim in Yerushalaim. And because his shtetl was either near or influenced Satmar. And then in 1967, as Baruch Hashem, we were able to return to the old city and to the Kotel. The Satmar Rebbe, Rabbi Yael, said that a person should not make his way to the Kotel. It was conquered by the Tzionim. But for Mr. Greenfield, this was not acceptable. He couldn't control himself. He couldn't not go to the Kaisel. So he went to the Kaisel and he stopped going to Satmar. And he had his own connection, a very spiritual, a very special person. But his connection to his community was not stronger than his connection to the Kaisel and to the Makom HaMikdash, to the location of the past and future temple. So that was a story that always influenced me of what it means to feel a connection to Yerushalaim and what the Six-Day War did. And it's a story to be mindful of on this day, when 53 years ago it changed the Jewish world and it changed Jewish identity. It had a very significant impact on many, when we realized that, you know what, we are connected to something great, and this is a day that inspired it. So let's celebrate. It should be a happy Yom Yerushalaim. It's a day to increase in our prayer, to focus in our tefillah, that we should merit to hear good things, because through the Shara Shamayim, the Baruch Hashem, we control today. May the tefillos of Klal Yisrael reach the Almighty, that we should hear good news. It should be a good Shabbos to all. Bye-bye.